Hello and welcome back to the channel. Behind me you see a very overgrown flower garden that we put in over 30 years ago, and it's just getting to be too much for us. So I am going to be borrowing my brother-in-law's excavator, and we're going to be removing some of the large rocks out of it and kind of plowing this out into the lawn, spreading it out and saving what we can as far as the plant life goes, and replant them around some of our other flower gardens. But we're going to do a lot of this in time lapse just so you can see it turn from this back into a lawn. Large rock, I think there's going to be 5 of them in here. There's a rose bush that we're probably going to try to save. Some other bushes over here that are going to be taken out, moved around. But we're going to, again, try to save a lot of this. But we're definitely going to get all the large rocks. But one of the big projects is going to be around the very edge where it butts up against the lawn. There is about a 18 to 20 inch wide path of stone that has got infiltrated with all kinds of leaves and dirt, and I'm going to take you down and show you what my plan is to try to sift those rocks and save those rocks so they don't end up out in the lawn. Alright, this is what I'm going to use hopefully to sift out the good rocks from around the edge of that flower garden that I'm breaking down. I got this piece of grading. It's actually like walk deck off of a platform that somebody was using as a grill for years, and they had it on Facebook Marketplace for, I think it was 30 bucks, but I had to run 20 miles, 30 miles away and go pick this up. And my plan is to take 2x8s and put down each side of this so it's like a trough, and I'm going to put it at an angle. And when I get this excavator from my brother-in-law, I'm going to set it up so that it runs into my trailer. So the plan is to make a set of legs for the high end of it, and then let it set on the edge of my trailer sides, and hopefully the round rocks will roll down this grading and sift out all the dirt and leaves and other paraphernalia that's mixed in with it, and then I'll go ahead and rinse them off in the trailer so that they're ready for use someplace else. Alright, it's been a couple days since I made that first video, and in the meantime, working around the weather, we got this excavator here from my brother-in-law, and we're going to dig into this island and try to flatten it out and make it into lawn. And we've decided to take the rocks that are in this island and just leave them here at the end of the lawn and maybe put a few plants around them. So I'm going to turn the camera around, put it on time lapse, and we'll get this thing done. Alright, that was about 2.5 hours on time lapse, and it's pretty much to the grade that I think it's going to end up. And there's the pile of topsoil and rock mix that was around the outside. So I'm going to try to sift that and use the sifted part of it as a topping to this. There won't be enough, but we'll spread it thin and fill in the holes. But then I'll also take that grading that I'm using for that funnel and separating the rocks from the soil, and I'll use that as a drag behind my four-wheeler, and hopefully that'll smooth this up enough that all I have to do is lightly rake it and throw some grass seed on it. But that's a long way off. I've got over here all this soils and spoils that I pulled off the top that has all the weeds in it, and that's going to have to dry out a little bit, and I'm going to have to go through that with a rake so that I can get all of that out of there, and then I'll blend that into the lawn. But then I have all these bushes and flowers and rocks, and we've decided to take those rocks and just make a formation down here on the end out of those rocks, and maybe put a few flowers around them at the entrance to our allotment. But we'll get to this another day. It's another party day. Hope you're having a great day. All right, here's the scoop. I had to quit at 11:30 to go to a great grandson's birthday party, which I wouldn't miss for the world. And now I'm back home, and it's around 4 o'clock, and I've only got till 8 o'clock to sift through that pile of stones, because it's supposed to rain for like the next 4 days, or at least have a good high chance of it. So I'm going to put this chute together, and I didn't have any 2x8s like I said earlier, so I'm going to use these 2x6s by 10 foot long. I've got them set up on the edge of my trailer so I don't have to try to manhandle this thing by myself when I get it down there, even though it's gonna be difficult. But I think I can pick up the high end with the excavator and then put the bracing underneath it to hold the high end. So I'm gonna put it on time lapse here real quick. We'll bolt this thing together and see if we can't get the trailer and this chute down there and get this dirt sifted before the rain comes. All right, it doesn't get them all. It's not fantastic. It's not working as well as I hoped it would, but it is saving me, you know, some of the stone. So I'm going to continue at it until I just get tired of it, and then I'll probably just bury the rest. All right, it's been 3 days since you saw me putting that first scoop into that chute. Let me turn this around and show you what happened and how far I've gotten since then. All right, that's how much stone that I've gotten so far, and that's how much sifted dirt I got so far. The rain got close and didn't get hardly any of the pile done, and I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit too wet to sift very easily. But show you what I had as far as problems with this sifter. Some of the rocks, as you can see, get jammed right in the grading, and the other thing is there's material that was put under those stones to keep grass from growing through it. There was a lot of weeds, so on and so forth, but it all seems to jam up this chute, and kind of came to the conclusion that this grate might have worked better going the other direction, you know, across the shorter spans, but that's the way it's built, so that's what I'm going to continue on with. The only thing I am going to do is raise the height on the back to try to get a little more slant and see how that works when that dirt finally dries out enough. But over here in the side yard where I had all that weeds and you name it out here, I got majority of it done, but it was all piled over here, and I scraping it out back across the lawn with these, like a dethatcher that I built years ago for when I planted this lawn. I just took a piece of hardwood 2x6, took some tubing and fittings on a flange, and bolted it, or screwed it to here first on 2 of the screws, and then the other 2 bolts go all the way through the plow, and this thing works in reverse only. So what I've been doing out here is coming in, taking a grab of about 1 foot or 1.5 feet of this material right here, like I'll grab half of this material that's left here, and I'll back drag it up through the lawn, and that way it loses a lot of the topsoil into the lawn, which I'll be able to replant, and then the plants that didn't get used are up over in that area. Those 2 piles, one on the right and one on the left, those are the weeds and such that I'm pulling out of what I'm pulling back. And there are the rocks. We did use one of the rocks down by the house, but that's what we're going to use out here towards the end of the property. But we'll get that leveled off, and I'm going to set it up on time lapse here just to show you how I took care of all these weeds that were shoved over here to the side. All right, as you could see, that's less than perfect, but that's what I'm going to end up using to get the rest of that pile sifted down so that I can have some halfway clean topsoil to top that with. Yeah, every time some weeds get in there, or a piece of that fabric that was under the stones, or a piece of sod, anything, and with it steeper, it seems to do a little bit better, but the problem is that I get pieces of sod and more topsoil down in the stones than I would like, but I think that's probably it's going to end up. It seems to work a little better that way than when I had it a smaller grade, but it'll take me quite a bit of time to knock this out, but I'll get her done. There's a lot to be said for a strong back and a determined mind. All right, got all of the leftover weeds and shrubs that we didn't use, and my buddy said I could put it on his burn pile. So I loaded her up, and here we are. Now I get to unload it. 30 minutes later, she's all unloaded and ready to go back and sift some more of that stone. All right, this is my third load. It seems to be going much better now that it's dried out a little bit more. But I'll set up the camera one more time and show you what it's running like. But the chute itself gets clogged up. Most I can get out of it is 2 scoops, and it clogs up with weeds and that material. But it's getting the job done. Take a scoop out of the pile. I sort through it, get out what I can off the top. But that's what's left of the pile. Then before I get back in the cab, I pick out what's in the pile. But then after I've run a couple scoops through, I jump up in the trailer, pick out any sod or roots that have fallen into the bottom, and then I climb up on my screen and I end up picking out all the debris so I can get another couple scoops out of it. All right, I've done that about 150 times, but almost done with that pile, and I think I'm going to use this last load of stone as a base for those big rocks out in the yard. So haven't quite decided, how I'm going to arrange them or what it's going to look like, but the wife and I will come up with something. All right, under the screen, this is what it ends up looking like. Any of the rocks that bounce out onto the ground end up on this side of the pile over here. Any of the ones that are too small for the screening are right here on and around the pile, but I pick them out, throw them in the trailer. All right, after about 10 scoops, that's what I usually end up with as far as a pile goes. I've picked through what I could as far as the rocks go, and now I'll pull the excavator up over here and pull some of this out and stretch it out over the surface of where I want to plant it. Call that the end of that pile. Still plenty of rocks left in there though. Got another load, and that's the biggest load of stone that I've put in this trailer. This is the third load. The others have been probably a little less than half of that, maybe a little more than half, I guess, maybe. And got a hole over there, but then I've got to come down here and hit that drain. So I'm going to go this direction, and this is all uphill going towards the trailer, and I'm going to cut in a ditch so that everything runs off the road and off of my little knoll here down to here, and all the way down through this little ravine. There are those little drains. I've got them covered with stone like that, but I don't think I'm going to do that on this one anymore. But gonna get that screen tore apart, and that screen is going to end up being used as a drag for finishing this off once I get it close to where it needs to go. But I'm going to pull the sides off of it, figure out a way to hook to the sides of it, and pull it around to level things off. All right, I got the screen tore down, and I ended up drilling a couple half-inch holes. Here you can see one of the eye bolts that I put in right there, and the other one over here. I just spaced in evenly from each side, and I've got a piece of nylon strap that I'm going to hook onto this, but I am going to flip it over because this little rod that runs across the top of these for the walk surface, I think all the strength is going to be on the bottom side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this over, pull this around with those eyes, turn around here. I've got all the material picked up that was around the edge, the weeds and the matting that was underneath. So I'm going to take that last pile that's there by the excavator. I'm going to flatten that out a little bit, run around it with the blade, but I'll put it up on the tripod and probably just run it through on fast forward. And then I'm going to hook up the four-wheeler to that piece of walk deck, and use it as my drag, and we'll see how it works. been a couple days, but let me show you how this is coming along. You can see that I ended up piling those big stones that I had out in the middle of that area that used to be the garden. Didn't get any video of that because we had rain coming in, and it got late at night, and actually ended up using the lights on the excavator in order to get those rocks set on there. But we took the excavator, ran it down on the other side of that little area there, and backed the trailer up in 3 different spots, and then just scooped those stones out. That was the last load of stones that I had. So I'll take you down, turn the camera around, and show you how that turned out. All right, when I drug that grading around to level that off, I brought up a lot of stones and a lot of the sod clumps. So I ended up hand raking all of that, and I've got this to hand rake over here yet. You can see the line running down through here where it still needs to be raked and get all the sod and stones out of it, then go through the piles and clear that out. But that far side over there is blended in, and if I zoom in down there, you can see better the stones that I decided to put over the grate for the ditch drain. But that's what it looks like. I took the rocks that were in that island and just kind of made a little arch of those stones that I had sorted out, and that's what it looks like. Got good drainage down to the drain, and we should be in good shape. Next step is to go get some straw, and I've got the seed and fertilizer, and we'll get this thing seeded and put some straw on it. Yes, and as you can see, the excavator is gone. Yesterday it looked like it was going to rain again, which it did. So at the end of the day, I loaded it up and took it back to my brother-in-law. Many thanks to him and his family. All right, spent a little time on it this morning and blended in this edge over here, blended in this edge, and scraped the debris piles back off from the edge so I could at least get this planted just in case it rains tonight. So I'm going to turn the camera around, show you what we've got here to plant this with, and then I'll set it up on time lapse. After I got the trailer cleaned out, went out and got 6 bales of straw from the local feed store. Picked up some seed this morning and had a smaller bag left over from last year. I'm going to kind of blend that in with the other grass seed that I picked up. I got a couple hand spreaders, and then I've got this walk behind, and I think I'm going to use the walk behind first and see how that works, and we'll get this thing planted. that's one bale. I got 6. What do you think? You think I'm gonna make it with the 6? Or am I gonna end up going back after more? Well, just enough. Had to go back and rob Peter to pay Paul, but the whole thing's covered. So I'm going to go grab the 4-wheeler with a roller on it and kind of run over this thing and hopefully what it's going to do. I've never done it before, but it's just something I'm thinking in my mind that is going to push some of that straw down into the dirt, push some of the seed down into the dirt, and hopefully it will keep things in place while we get wind and rain. All right, there's another project in the books. So when this gets some grass on it, grows in, hopefully, I'll make a short out of it and put it on the channel. All right, hope you're having a great day. Hey, don't forget, like and subscribe. Really appreciate your time. All right, have a great one. Bye.